UFC Fight Night Vegas 32, Sandhagen versus Dillashaw takes place in only a matter of hours, so these are my last minute detailed prediction and breakdowns of every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main events. I'm not just saying who's going to win, I've already done that earlier this week. I'm trying to call what the scorecards are going to be, what the finishing move is going to be, what the knockout blow is going to be, what the submission is going to be. I'm calling it down to a T, starting with the early prelim opener of Diana Belbita versus Hannah Goldy. Now, an embarrassment to mixed martial arts is what my first prediction is going to be. I think we're going to get a decision here, unfortunately, for all 3 rounds. But that's okay. I think it's going to be a bad performance by both, but I believe that Diana Belbita is a little bit better on the feet than Hannah Goldy. I think she's going to be a bit too big and too rangy for Hannah Goldy. I see this being a bit of a stand-up exchange. Otherwise, they're going to be against the cage, clinching in over-under position for the majority of the time. But I do believe that Diana Belbita is going to have an advantage in both of those positions. Height-wise, in the clinch, I think she's going to do well with some knees and some shots there. Win the total strike battle against the cage. Then at range, I think she's just going to be a little bit too long for Hannah Goldy, and she's just going to be keeping her at range for the entire fight long. Diana Belbita by unanimous decision, I'll say 30-27. First round, Hannah Goldy comes out there, tries to put the pressure on early, gets tagged a couple of times, trying to close the distance a little bit incorrectly, of course. Diana Belbita lands a couple of good shots. Hannah Goldy's nose starts to get a little bit bloody. Her eyes starts to get a little bit red. All of a sudden, she's not so willing to close the distance anymore. She tries to do it against the cage by pushing Diana Belbita there. But for the most part, on the feet, I believe Diana Belbita is just going to be picking her apart. Jabs, straight right hands, couple of kicks at range as well. Diana Belbita keeps it at range for a 30-27 unanimous decision. Moving on up the card, Sijara Eubanks versus Elise Reed. Elise Reed's actually pretty good. I think she'll have some success on the feet early, maybe, with some volume. But I think Sijara Eubanks is just going to be a little bit too big for her. And I can see Sijara Eubanks getting herself a 29-28 unanimous decision. I think Elise Reed is maybe going to come out there in the first round and have a little bit of success on the feet, landing some good shots on Sijara Eubanks, countering Sijara Eubanks as well, and then adding some volume against the cage on Eubanks now and then, winning herself the first round on volume, 10-9. Then in the second and third round, I think Sijara Eubanks is going to switch up the game plan a little bit, start to work some grappling on Elise Reed. If you know, Elise Reed was an atom weight at one point in her career, moved up to the strawweight division. Now she's taking this bout at flyweight. Sijara Eubanks is going to have a massive size advantage out there and a huge strength advantage as well. And I think as this fight goes on, Sijara Eubanks is going to have a lot of success getting down Elise Reed against the cage and just being on top in half guard, landing some good shots. Elise Reed may survive, but I believe that Sijara Eubanks is going to use her size, strength, and grappling, and power difference as well. As this fight goes on, 29-28, Sijara Eubanks 2-1, winning herself the last 2 rounds. Moving on up the card, Julio Arce versus Andre Ewell. I'm going with Andre Ewell as an underdog here. Julio Arce is good, very technical on the feet, but I believe that this is how the fight's going to go. Andre Ewell is going to go out there, dancing around, a lot of crazy footwork, moving around the outside. Julio Arce is going to try blitzing forward a couple of times with some punches. I think Andre Ewell is going to catch him with some swift counters as he rushes in for some volume combinations with the hands. And I think Andre Ewell is going to tag him a couple too many times. Julio Arce is going to get a little bit frustrated being tagged, trying to close the distance. He's not going to have another way around it. If you don't know, Julio Arce never throws leg kicks in any of his fights, ever. You can go back through them. I believe he's thrown 1 leg kick in his entire UFC career. That's one of the best ways you're going to have to defeat Andre Ewell, so I don't see him being able to utilize those. And I think Andre Ewell's going to go out there, dance around, stay out of range, and just pick at Julio Arce for 3 straight rounds, 30-27, outlanding him minorly every single round. Maybe there's some moments where Julio Arce closes him off, corners him against the cage, lands a couple of combination shots against the cage as well. But in the meantime, throughout the majority of the round, it's going to be Andre Ewell landing front kicks, landing kicks of his own, landing straight shots on the chin of Julio Arce. And I think Andre Ewell's going to scoot around the outside and pick his way to a decision win, 30-27 against Julio Arce. Now let's get to some more interesting ones. Mickey Gall versus Jordan Williams. I'm going with Jordan Williams here, and I'm going Jordan Williams by third round TKO finish over Mickey Gall. I think Mickey Gall's going to go out there, try and get things to the ground straight away after some big shots are thrown on the feet. I think he will get Jordan Williams down in that first round, but I don't believe he's going to be able to pass position. I think he will surprise Jordan Williams with a massive takedown early, maybe get him to the ground, try and look for the back, but Jordan Williams is going to escape out of it, end up back on his feet, doing well against Mickey Gall, landing some good body shots, landing some good shots on the feet. Mickey Gall's also going to be doing okay in the first round. In the second round, they're going to start again. Mickey Gall's going to have slightly lost the first round based on damage, based on numbers to Jordan Williams. Second round, his coaches tell him, go out there, put this guy on the mat, get him on the ground and do what you do best. Mickey Gall's going to go out there and try and do that exact same thing. I think this time he's going to fail at the takedown, but he's going to keep trying to get those takedowns against the cage, keep trying to connect his hands around the waist of Jordan Williams to try and go for a double leg against the cage. Jordan Williams is going to defend that with good positioning, underhooks, spreading his legs, spreading his weight, shimmying Mickey Gall back up his body, and then getting underhooks, turning it around against the cage, landing some knees to the thigh, some body shots. Mickey Gall might try a sweep or something, but I believe Jordan Williams will stay on his feet, get back to his feet if he does hit the ground for a second, and I think Jordan Williams is going to slowly start to wear on Mickey Gall in the clinch situations, being a little bit too busy, landing knees in the clinch, landing shots at range, working in body shots whenever he has Mickey Gall against the cage. And in the third round, I think Mickey Gall's going to go for one more takedown, trying to get his best position one more time. This time, Jordan Williams is going to easily stuff it. Mickey Gall tries again desperately to get it back to the ground, tries to chain another takedown together. This time he just gets his head pushed down into the canvas. He's losing energy. He rolls to his back. And this time Jordan Williams takes the top position on Mickey Gall and just starts landing some big shots. And as Mickey Gall's trying to work his way back up into a single leg to get back to his feet from on bottom after taking some big shots, I think it's going to be Jordan Williams raining down some hammer fists around the back of the head area of Mickey Gall, around behind the ear, the legal shot of course, and I think he's going to land that over and over and over again as Mickey Gall clings onto a single leg for dear life, and Jordan Williams is going to get himself the third round TKO win and maybe the end of Mickey Gall's career. Jordan Williams' third round TKO. Moving on up the card, Nassourdine Imavov versus Ian Heinisch. I'm going to go with Ian Heinisch by TKO in the first round. I like Nassourdine Imavov. I think he has actually got some skills. I think both guys are going to go out there very, very hesitant in the early rounds. Not really throwing much of anything whatsoever, really. Maybe Ian Heinisch fakes a couple of takedown attempts, goes for a couple of takedown attempts, gets Nassourdine Imavov to the ground suddenly, but Imavov will work his way back up. Then I think around the halfway point of the first round, Ian Heinisch is going to go in, level change low, Nassourdine Imavov's hands are going to come low to defend the takedown, and Ian Heinisch is going to land an overhand bomb on Nassourdine Imavov's chin as he is leaving himself exposed, and I think Ian Heinisch is actually going to get a first round overhand fake level change KO on this Nassourdine Imavov and get him out of there in the first round by KO. Ian Heinisch gets it done first round. There's not really much else to discuss there. I think they're going to be very, very hesitant in the first round. Ian Heinisch goes for a couple of takedowns, puts that thought in Imavov's head, and eventually, boom, down goes Nassourdine Imavov. Ian Heinisch gets the first round KO. Moving on up the card, Punahele Soriano versus Brendan Allen. I'm going to go with Punahele Soriano here, and again, I'm going to go by Punahele Soriano first round KO. At the end of the first round, I think it's going to be Punahele Soriano, Brendan Allen, both guys in the open. Brendan Allen trying to work his kicks early because Punahele Soriano is going to be charging forwards. I think Allen's just going to blast heavy kicks into Punahele Soriano. Body kicks, kicks to the arms of Punahele Soriano, just trying to pin him backwards. If you've seen what Alessio De Chirico did against Joaquin Buckley. Basically, Joaquin Buckley was just recklessly charging forwards, so Alessio De Chirico just fucking blasted kicks into him. You can't walk into kicks. You've got to have base. You've got to sort of structure yourself and tense yourself up and sort of hold your ground against a kick. But if you're just walking forwards the whole time, you saw what Alessio De Chirico did, and I believe even Daniel Cormier recommended that Alessio De Chirico did this. Just blast kicks into Punahele Soriano. I think Brendan Allen's going to start doing that. I don't think he has the level of kicks required, and I think when he does throw those kicks, he's going to leave himself open, and I think as he goes for some kicks. He's going to get caught on the chin. Punahele Soriano starts to get a little bit of respect from Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen maybe shoots for a takedown, but Punahele Soriano's a little bit too strong for him. Gets him off, gets back up. And then once that is over, I think Brendan Allen's going to be a little bit hesitant to exchange, try and land some boxing combinations because the kicks aren't really working in slowing down Punahele Soriano. And I think Punahele Soriano at the end of the round is going to crack him straight on the chin in a punching combination exchange. Brendan Allen's going to be throwing a hook. Punahele's going to beat him to the punch with a much faster shot with more power. Down goes Brendan Allen at the end of the first round. Punahele Soriano gets a finish. Drops Brendan Allen against the cage. Allen's covering up. Punahele finishes off with some shots from the backside. Bang, bang, bang. Referee steps in. TKO finish in the first round for Punahele Soriano. Moving on to the main card. Adrian Yanez versus Randy Costa. I'm going to go first round KO again. I think it's going to happen. I think Adrian Yanez is going to catch Randy Costa being too reckless in the first round. I think they're both going to start a little bit hesitant. Then Randy Costa's going to start amping himself up a little bit, trying to go in for some exchanges, throwing some head kicks that miss early, but still trying to throw them. Adrian Yanez is going to start working his jab, trying to pump it out there, maybe throw some leg kicks of his own. Randy Costa continues to try and land the head kick. It's going to miss a couple of times in the early rounds. Then he's going to start chopping at the legs of Adrian Yanez, trying to switch up the game plan. He's going to start going to the low leg kick of Adrian Yanez, chopping at the base of Adrian Yanez, and then Yanez is going to start landing some jabs and some combinations as he goes for the leg. Then Randy Costa is going to start throwing kicks up high again. This time Adrian Yanez is going to see it coming. Randy Costa throws a kick up high, and Adrian Yanez blasts a straight shot right down the pipe, right on Randy Costa's chin, whilst he's on one leg. Randy Costa goes down. He's sort of out of it, but then Adrian Yanez has to get on top of him, finish the job, and get himself a TKO win over Randy Costa, who shells up, covers up, tries to fight back, but is just too wobbled and destroyed to really do anything about it. I believe Adrian Yanez is going to catch an overconfident Randy Costa in the middle of throwing a head kick in the first round and put him down and finish off the job afterwards. Adrian Yanez, first round KO. Moving on up the card, Miranda Maverick versus Maycee Barber. I'm going to go with Miranda Maverick by decision here. I think she's going to win it 29-28. I believe Maycee Barber is going to come out there looking really good. In all honesty, I think she's going to go out there, try and get things started early, try and make it a real big scrap early. Miranda Maverick maybe shoots a couple of takedowns to alleviate a little bit of pressure, but Maycee Barber gets back up or stuffs them, starts landing some good shots on Miranda Maverick, but I think she's going to sort of use up too much energy early, trying to make a statement that she's back in the mix and she's still here in the women's flyweight division, still a worthy contender. Miranda Maverick is going to start countering her in the second round. Maycee Barber's going to have slowed down a little bit because this time she hasn't spent her whole fight just shadow boxing out of range. She's actually gone for something in the first round and started emptying out some combinations against the cage. But I think Miranda Maverick's going to be too good for her. Roll with the shots, cover up well, clinch up when she needs to, turn the clinch around against the cage to survive herself that first round. 10-9 Maycee Barber in the first, but in the second and third, the momentum shifts towards the person who saved a bit more of their energy, and Miranda Maverick will start landing more shots on Maycee Barber in the second. Close second round, goes towards Miranda Maverick. Third round, I think Miranda Maverick's going to have a very clear round, as clear as Maycee Barber had the first, and I think she's going to be the one landing some really good combination shots on a gassed out Maycee Barber, and I'm going to go with Miranda Maverick 29-28, unanimous decision based on the last two rounds because of a cardio momentum shift. Moving on up the card, Darren Elkins versus Darrick Minner in the feature fight of a fight night card. What has happened to our sport? Good fight, though. I like it. I'm going to go Darrick Minner, and I'm going to go Darrick Minner by sub, I think. I'm going to go Darrick Minner arm triangle. I think he's a little bit too strong for Darren Elkins. I think Darrick Minner is a very, very underrated fighter. He's got great grappling. No, you know what? I'm going to go guillotine. I'm going to go guillotine for Darrick Minner, and I'll say start of the second round, I believe. Darren Elkins, Darrick Minner have a decent scrap in the first, but Darrick Minner, I believe, is going to start to take over in the first round, maybe get a takedown of his own and start working Darren Elkins, as Elkins is sort of like working himself back up from the takedown against the cage. I think Minner's going to be landing some shots as Elkins does that, landing some knees to the thigh, landing some body knees and stuff like that, and just winning the exchanges on the feet as well. Then in the second round, the coach is going to say, Darren, you have to go first. You're the damage. You're Darren the Damage Elkins. And Elkins is going to say back, like, oh no, and then they're going to go really amped up out of the second round, start forcing Darren Elkins to engage and start the fight rather than being secondary to Darrick Minner. I'm the damage Elkins! And he's going to charge at Darrick Minner, try and get himself a takedown, and Darrick Minner's going to latch up the guillotine at the start of the second round and submit Darren Elkins in round 2. Moving on up the card, Kyler Phillips versus Raulian Paiva. I'm going to go Kyler Phillips by second round submission as well. I believe Kyler Phillips is going to get this one done by rear naked choke in the second round. I think both guys are going to start on the feet. Raulian Paiva, Kyler Phillips, both landing some good shots. I think this could be a fight of the night worthy fight in my opinion. Raulian Paiva is going to surprise some people. Flyweights actually are pretty good at fighting. Kyler Phillips is going to go out there, land some good shots on the feet. Raulian Paiva is going to land some good shots with his hands as well on Kyler Phillips. But I think this is going to be a case of Kyler Phillips being the better mixed martial artist out there. I think he's going to land some good shots on the feet, some good punches with Raulian Paiva. Both guys are going to be jabbing at each other, landing straight shots on each other. But I think Kyler Phillips, with his reach advantage, is going to be landing more of those shots. And I believe he's going to be mixing up a little bit better as well, landing some good leg kicks on Raulian Paiva, landing some good body kicks on Raulian Paiva as well, where I believe Paiva is a little bit more boxing heavy in his style. I think Phillips is going to mix it up, landing leg kicks, landing body kicks, landing head kicks. Then at some point in the first round, as Paiva loads up on a big shot to get some respect from Kyler Phillips, Phillips is going to immediately duck under, get himself a double leg takedown against Paiva, put him on the mat. Then he's going to start passing over the guard, landing some big shots of ground and pound at the end of the first round. Some people argue 10-8. I believe maybe 10-9 because of how close it was early on in the round. But I think Phillips is going to win himself clearly the last 2 minutes of this fight on top, landing some good shots. Then in the second round, Paiva's going to be worried about the takedown so much, he's going to be hesitant with the hands. He's going to get cracked on the feet by Kyler Phillips. He's going to try throw him back, and that's when Kyler Phillips is going to double leg under and get himself that explosive reactionary takedown. This time, Raulian Paiva going to be a little bit mentally defeated after the beating that he took in the first round. Phillips will start landing some good shots from the backside on Raulian Paiva with wrist control, landing good shots. Paiva will give up his back. Phillips will take it and put in the rear naked choke at the end of round 2, or the midway point of round 2, I'll say. Kyler Phillips, mid-second round, rear naked choke. Moving on up the card, Cory Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw. Very hesitant early. TJ faking on the outside, very patient, very patient. Cory Sandhagen using kicks at range. I think Dillashaw's going to try loading stuff up, do a couple of switch steps to try and get himself on the inside of Cory Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen's going to show him that knee a couple of times, just lifting it up there, showing, hey Dillashaw, if you're going to come in dipping your head down and switching stances, you're not going to like it in a couple of seconds. I think TJ Dillashaw is going to back off, start looking to maybe do some stuff from range, trying to trade leg kicks with Cory Sandhagen. I think Dillashaw is going to be going to the outside leg. Cory Sandhagen's going to be going to the inside leg of TJ Dillashaw and be throwing a lot of front kicks to TJ Dillashaw as well. And I think that's going to be the fight for the first 3 minutes of the round. Cory Sandhagen, inside leg kicks, front kicks to the stomach. Dillashaw, outside leg kicks, finding his way on the inside, maybe lands a couple of hooks on a shelled up Cory Sandhagen as he moves out the way, like Edgar was doing at the start of their fight, as long as that lasted. But Sandhagen's investment to the inside leg and the body kick as well is going to eventually set up a switch kick KO for Cory Sandhagen. At the end of the first round, I think he's going to fake the front kick, switch it around up the top, and Dillashaw's going to go low to parry away the front kick and try and sweep it out the way, Yoel Romero style, if you know, you know. And Cory Sandhagen is going to switch it up as Dillashaw's hands come low, and I think it's going to catch Dillashaw right on the temple, off the top of the head, and I think Cory Sandhagen's going to put Dillashaw down at the end of the first round. Dillashaw will be wobbled all over the place, looking for a single leg. Sandhagen landing good shots. You gotta move, TJ, show me you're in there. DJ's wobbling around, trying to get his way back into the fight, trying to grab around a double leg, but Sandhagen's still landing shots, and TJ's just going to be a little bit too wobbled to show the referee that he's effectively defending himself. The fight gets stopped. Cory Sandhagen gets his hand raised. First round TKO. There's going to be some questions about the stoppage, especially from TJ Dillashaw. I believe he will get immediately up after the finish has happened and start complaining about the stoppage. And some people will defend, and some people will say it's justified, but I don't think he's going to be appropriately defending himself, and I think his jelly legs will just be too big of a problem visually for the referee to count him as still in the fight. So I think Cory Sandhagen, switch kick to start it off, ground and pound to finish it. First round round TKO against TJ Dillashaw. Thank you for watching. These are my last minute detailed predictions. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later.